everyone, it's Eleanor here from Hairdressers Journal. Welcome back to our HJ Goes Live series. Today we have award-winning hairdresser Jonathan Andrew joining us today, and he's going to be showing us how to do 3 different looks at home that we can master during this lockdown period. So without any further ado, we'll get Jonathan in. Should be with us any moment. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How are you?
I am very well indeed. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you with us. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing today? What looks were you going to be doing?
So, what I wanted to do today was kind of make it something for everyone, because I think there's obviously lots of hairdressers out there sharing loads of things, and they're getting more and more technical. So what I wanted to do was actually give something and kind of break it down a little bit. So I wanted to give something really simple that hairdressers could be advising clients about at home, and looks that they could be practicing, because I think when everyone's getting caught up in this cutting hair at home and colouring hair at home, I think actually rather than just saying don't do it, we need to be able to offer advice and give our clients something that they can be practicing at home. So what I wanted to do with that is just a super simple look that's really easy to kind of translate to clients, but also have a little practice yourself. Then I'm going to progress that a little bit more. And do one of those little kind of a bit more glamorous, a bit more big, fuller, bouncier hair to kind of try on yourself. Again, you can give to clients. It's great for those drinks nights that everyone's having on Zoom chats and Instagram lives. And then kind of finally, I wanted to do just kind of one of my go-to looks when I'm on a shoot. Great way to get rid of long hair and sort of create some different shapes and different texture, but also give you a lot of different angles that you can work on. So hopefully we'll get all that kicking off and looking good. My lovely wife's going to model for me, thankfully. So I'm going to bring her in, make sure we're all set up and this all looks right.
Amazing.
And we'll get going. Obviously I'm going to be stood back, so anyone wants to see anything particular or ask any questions, make sure you ask me. And if you see any questions come up you think are quite interesting, just shout them out to me, because I've got quite good eyesight, but not that good.
Sure, I'll keep an eye out on the questions and I'll shout them out towards you.
Sounds good. Let's get started.
Amazing, thank you.
Have a seat. Right, let's make sure we can see all of this. That looks good. You see all that?
Amazing, looks good to me. For anyone who's watching, if you are struggling to see with the comments, you should be able to swipe down and that should minimise them slightly, so I can still keep an eye out for your questions, but it won't obstruct the view of what Jonathan's doing. So
amazing. So literally all I'm going to do here is kind of what I'd be doing based on prep. So we've got lots of nice products in there that's going to hold this in. So I've got some of the Fudge Expander foam in there, which is a great product for hold, and a bit of salt spray. What that's going to do is just going to give me a bit of grit and a bit of texture. And then literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some GHDs and I'm just going to start with roots, and I'm going to give a nice little bit of volume and literally curling this towards the face. Now, when you curl hair towards the face, what it does, it just gives a little bit of a younger, fresher look to the hair, as opposed to kind of away from the face where it can kind of become a bit more glamorous. So this just keeps it a little bit fresher. And I've already prepped all of the hair, as you can see, but this is just a really simple way of dressing out into nice, soft waves. And I'm hoping my wife's hair has a very big tendency of falling out very quickly and dropping out very quickly. So yeah. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And I'm hoping you don't see any marital tips. So literally what I'm going to do, I've got a really large wide tooth comb, which is great for this. And what I want to start doing is just brushing it out and just loosening that texture. The key here is obviously using something that's a bit more wide tooth. It just makes it a lot softer and it breaks up the curls a lot better, so that we can start to put them into waves a little bit more. So we're going to keep shaping that in. Never used half a phone screen as a mirror before, so this is a new experience. You know, and this is just kind of little things that you could be helping your clients with at home, just to get perfect Zoom call hair or work from home hair. You know, I think that's the important thing, is actually showcasing for our clients that we are still here for them. You know, the biggest thing for me, I think, is everyone's discussing hair at home and cutting hair at home and all those sorts of things. And I'm more so not recommending it, because I'm more worried about people with mental health at home and having something else to worry about, rather than, you know, a lot of the other things I've seen is people concerned about the salons and clients not coming back. They will be coming back, I promise. They're not going to continue doing their hair at home constantly, because
Absolutely.
as I'm sure I've seen from some of the pictures, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Seems like absolute shockers so far. So literally, as you can see, even with that product in there, it just comes through really silky smooth, really nice shine, and it just gives us a great little base to work from. And it's just super soft and simple, just a very, very soft curl in towards the face, and what that's going to do, just breaks up the curls and gives all that definition. That's a lovely shape. I'm quite liking this. Maybe I'll just stop here and I won't do any more looks.
Amazing. Looks great. Looks super shiny.
Thank you very much. Did it all myself. So what I want to do now is kind of progress this to something else. And this is a tip that I always use. A lot of the time, sort of experience I've had working on shoots, Fudge campaigns, TV stuff, all of those things. A lot of the time you don't have that much time to prep or change the looks, and a lot of hairdressers sometimes, especially me, you get caught in that pressure bubble, and it's like, what am I going to do? And my always go-to look is kind of just take the hair away from one side and tweak it. And over the years this has been very sleek and smooth, or I've made it bigger and bigger and bigger. So what I want to do for you today is actually just show the quickest, simplest way to do this, to keep that hair all nice and clean, away from the face, take one side away, and then we're going to really make this other side bigger and kind of push the boundaries of it a little bit. So I am going to take some texture spray and a little hairband. I'm so organised. I've never been this organised with all this stuff. Jesus Christ, you see me do any shoot, it's never like this. So the hair's split right down the middle. Turn your head for me, darling. Tash is instantly questioning why I didn't just buy a doll's head. So what I'm going to for you, probably talk about less. I've got my wide tooth tail comb again, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to come here just behind the ear, and I'm going to start to take a big diagonal section all the way through. Just turn on the chair slightly, all the way through to the back. And as you can see, that takes away all the way round into the nape of the other side. So now my section comes on a big curve. I'm going to take this hair, and I'm going to take a little bit of my trusty skyscraper, and I'm just going to mist this over the top of the hair. And what that does, it just gives me a little bit of a film to work with. And I'm just going to very gently brush all this down, keeping it nice and flat. And this is just going to give that nice sleek finish. And then all I'm going to do, just turn around a little bit more for me, darling, that way. Can you see here?
Yeah, I can see
I've
that.
got like a little low ponytail, yeah? So then all we're going to do is just put a little hairband in there. Pull that nice and tight, and you can see, as I turn it back round, that just takes away all of that hair on the one side. So all of a sudden you get that kind of slightly more red carpet ready look.
Really nice.
Really make that nice and high shine, and then just going to have a bit of fun and make it massive.
That's good.
That's what we like.
That's
you should be doing tutorials on your hair, it looks lovely.
Oh, thank you.
So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go back in, and I'm just going to start to tease that hair with that wide tooth comb, and I'm going to mist it as I go with some texture spray, which is just going to help give me a little bit more grip in there and a little bit more texture to really start to emphasize those curls. Just hold that for me. Not like that. I'm joking. Still have fun. This is the thing, you know, I think there's so much at the minute going around, and it's very tough being at home. It's very tough being at home as a hairdresser, I must admit.
Mm.
But getting the opportunity to do things like this and obviously share and support other hairdressers out there is absolutely key.
Definitely. No, it's good to have this kind of community, isn't it? And kind of sharing
Absolutely.
advice and tips. Have you got any
Absolutely.
advice for people at home who maybe want some things to do during this time, during lockdown, while salons are shut? Have you got any advice for them?
So I sort of personally have focused a lot more on other parts of what I do. Um, I think it's really easy to kind of jump on board and order a doll's head and loads of colours and start trying to learn more at home, which I think is very key and is something that I definitely recommend people doing. But I think sometimes you can end up getting lost in trying to find ways to do different things to hair. And I think partially what's getting lost a little bit is that, you know, there's so many different aspects to what we do every day as hairdressers that it's quite important, I've found, to try and learn some new skills and support what you do ready for when you go back. And I think the main reason for that is that there's so many different aspects to what we do. Like Instagram is a huge thing. So be focusing on learning about social media, learn how to grow your profile, how to build your brand, how to take better pictures, how to take better videos. There's so much out there of people just hair, which obviously I get. I love hair, I love doing hair, and practicing it is something that I definitely think is key to do. But don't get hung up just on that. You know, there's so many different things out there that make our industry what it is. It's good to try and brush up on that. You know, me personally, I've been trying to learn videography and photography and how to take better pictures. And, you know, I've obviously, you know, Tash has been great for helping me with that. I've got a 2-year-old little girl who's full of energy and desperate to be a model at the minute as well, or just desperate to annoy me. So she's in a lot of those pictures. Aww. So it's good to be able to kind of branch out a little bit more and tweak what it is you do. So as you can see, I'm just going to start. This is obviously just going to be a lot more textured. So what I'm going to do is start to kind of mimic the shape that I want to create. So I want to really sort of bring that wave out, and I want to put loads of texture in there and make it messy, because that's what's going to make this quite young and fresh.
Nice.
I hope. Trying to see in this mirror. So as you can see, it starts to just take a little bit more shape. And this is kind of what I would be doing on shoots and situations like that. So one of the big tips I give people, especially when trying to do photographic work, is as a hairdresser, it's so easy to try and be a hairdresser, and you've got to have a step by step, and it's got to be the same routine in the same way that you do everything. But actually, the camera only allows you to see the picture it takes, not the back, not the side. If you shoot the front, that's all you see. So actually trying to take yourself out creatively, which is something I think is a good thing to be practicing on, especially with dolls' heads, is focus on an area and make that look the best you can make it. And that's your focal point. That, from a photographic perspective, if I was to shoot from here, is going to showcase that texture. If I shoot it from here, it's going to do the same. I don't have to worry about all of this. So little things like that can actually really improve your skills for going back. Specifically, obviously, the British Hairdressing Awards, when we're allowed to open our doors again and start getting creative and fun, is something I'm really looking forward to this year. So for me, it's all about creating good concepts for that, things that I want to focus on, how I want to push that, so that as soon as I come back, I'm ready to get my photographer out and have a bit of fun.
Brilliant. That's some good advice. And it's just all about, I guess, focusing on the things that we can do at the moment to kind of enhance our skills while we're in lockdown.
Definitely. I think enhancing our skills are the important... Sorry, I just sprayed you right in the face there. If you were a model, I'd have said that's not on purpose, but my wife definitely was. So, as you can start to see, like, you just start to get a bit more of a silhouette shape, kind of defies the head shape a little bit, which is what I wanted to try and achieve. But my top little tip that I love is actually working and incorporating fringes into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the hair up and I'm going to spray directly on at the roots here. So we start to lift that shape up. And then just using some hairspray and a hairdryer, what you can start to do is create shapes. And this is where I always try and focus what I do. You know, as hairdressers, we're trying to create something different out of the fabric we're given. And for me, so much of that is done is actually getting involved with it and trying to push the hair as much as possible. And it's not all in a big blow dry or anything like that. Sometimes it's just a bit of hairspray and some tweaking. And you can see if I actually turn that way, all of a sudden, it just starts to bring out a totally different shape and changes how that looks.
Amazing. For everyone who's just joined us, a couple of people are saying that they can't quite see with the comments. If you swipe down, you should be able to minimise those and get a little bit of a better view. Let me know if that works. Fingers crossed it does.
Is there anything else I can do with the screen or anything like that will help?
Maybe we can tilt slightly more to your left. It might make it a little bit easier for everyone to see.
Right, I've just from the live situation, if I take this plug out, is it going to go off?
What plug is that, sorry?
I'm charging my phone. If I unplug it, it's not going to go off, is it?
No, we're still with you.
How's that? Is that a bit better?
Yeah, that should be better, I think. Yeah, as I said, if anyone's just joined us and you want to get a better view, try swiping down and you should be able to minimise the comments.
So, yeah, so literally all I've done is just really focused on getting that hair as big as possible, putting as much texture in there as possible, and just adding a little bit of detail into the fringe to kind of tie that in, so that pushing that to the side, we just get a nice finish. Again, super simple, really easy to achieve, and it's more based on trying to help hair. Let me just push this up a little bit, I can see that. How's that? There you go. Look at that. Oh, cheekbones. So you can kind of get the gist of sort of how far you can take this. You know, you can really emphasize this and make this shape as big as you can. Obviously, putting a lot more product in there, something like Elevate Powder is going to help give you that massive shape. Obviously, because I'm going to progress it again, I don't want to go too crazy with it. So that is just my little tip on fringes. And then
we have to calm down a little bit so we can see.
You can come down if you want. This looks good. Quite impressed with that. From what I can see, a tiny bit of a screen.
For everyone watching, I've just momentarily turned off the comments so we can see a bit better what Jonathan's doing, but I will turn them back on. So if you have any questions, we should be able to go back and visit them. Hopefully that helps everyone watching.
Love that. Is that what the problem is? Just the kind of number of comments that come through? I
think so, yeah. We're just too popular. Too many comments.
That's not a bad thing to happen. So literally what I want to do here is, this is kind of where I would do something a little bit more edgy and a bit different. But again, you know, so much of the things that I do, and definitely where I feel most comfortable, is working in photo shoots and working in that environment. It was always my goal when I started as a hairdresser, and it's always been somewhere that I've really enjoyed working. So I'm always trying to find clever, quick ways of changing looks. And I think especially in things like the hairdressing awards and those kind of photographic competitions, so many people plan out and plan out and plan out, and then you get lost the minute the look that you are desperate to do doesn't work. So I think being able to adapt is one of the most important things that you can have as a hairdresser to progress what it is you're doing, and also be more comfortable in that environment, in that setting, because it's so easy to get lost very quickly when you don't feel like things are going your way. So all I want to do is try and make sure that whenever I'm trying to get another look or change it, that I'll always look at it and I'll always tweak it and try and get more. That looks lovely.
Amazing.
Shine on that. See, I was nervous about doing this because Tash kept saying to me for like 3 days, "You do know that you don't ever do my hair that way."
No, I didn't say that.
It's looking great. Really nice.
Yeah, I like this. Don't get any ideas that I'll be doing this all the time.
You never do my hair.
Never. This is the thing. People
Let's
think
not row.
having hairdressers at home is great. It's not. So back to kind of square one where we were before. And now what I want to do is I want to kind of just split this right down the middle. And change this up a little bit. I apologise in advance, my darling, because it's got lots of product in, so this might pull and get sticky a little bit. So turn to the side. So, yeah, I'm just getting this ready. Now, to make this a little bit easier, I'm just going to take some shine spray and just mist that over the top. This is just going to help give me a bit more of a smoother platform to work with. How am I doing for time? Have I still got time?
Yep, we've still got time. We're on about 22 minutes past 1, so got some time.
Lovely. Pressure now. So, I'm going to take 2 hairbands. I'm just going to get Tash to hold that for me. I'll try and change her around both ways like this, but can you see that? Okay, see the side of her head and the back of her head?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is just really quickly do 2 scalp braids. So I'm just going to split that and I'm just going to work from the back up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add into the side in one big section rather than adding loads. And I'm just going to wrap them round. And the way I do that, and the reason I do that, is that sometimes I think trying to add to both sides, especially for looks like this, is quite difficult. And like I said, this look is all about me just getting something done quick. Can you see that?
Awesome. So you're braiding upwards.
Braiding upwards, and all I'm doing is I'm wrapping one big section at a time over and towards the middle. Anyone watching this who knows me knows that this is not my strong point, so please don't judge me. I'm sure there's some braiding experts out there going, what the hell is he doing? But that's not the point. It's not about the braid. It's about what we're going to achieve with it. And I'm just pulling that middle section and just wrapping those bits around, and then adding to the end that's out, and again getting those pesky little layers. Trying to stop boring everyone with this, and that's taking a little bit of time.
Jonathan, what are your go-to products for creating these different looks?
I definitely think prep is the most important. My favourite by far is one that we've just launched at Fudge called Blow Dry Aqua Primer. And it's just the ultimate product for me because it means that you can get so many benefits in your hair right from the start. It protects against heat, it adds condition, boosts shine, hold, shape. And it's also one of the first products that have got hyaluronic acid in as well. So it helps repair your hair whilst doing all of those lovely good things, which is quite nice. But to be honest, like this for me is a look that you need to kind of get lots of what I would like to call guts in. So expander foam's a great one, which is a really good mousse product that's just going to give loads of hold and grip. And as you can see now, I'm just literally putting a little band in the front there. Hope that didn't hurt too much. But kind of a little bit of softness. Don't worry if you drop any little bits out. It's not the end of the world. How was that? Did you get that?
Yes, I think so. It looks great.
Right, we're going to do the other side now. So any other products that I always tend to use are things like sea salt spray. For me, that is always in my kit bag. Purely because I just find that it's such a versatile product that you really can create so many different looks with it, that it's really a key product for me for anything really, men and women. And you know, men's probably the other one for me where I've got to have a lot of products on hand that's going to suit them. We've got a product called XXL hair thickener, which is a heat activated product, and the polymers in it give you 100% more density in your hair, which for guys who might be getting a little bit skinny on top, as we call it, it's a great product to help boost that. I actually recently filmed a new sort of YouTube mini series that I've been working on for quite a while with Fudge, and have been so fortunate that they've supported me on it, called In the Chair. It's available to watch on, I think the link is in Fudge's bio, it's on my page, it's on my YouTube channel. And we had Jamie Lang from Made in Chelsea as our first guest.
Oh, amazing.
And it was sort of just a sort of introspective way of looking at the relationship between a hairdresser and a client, and what actually happens when a client's in the chair. And we talked about hair transplants and lots of other funny things. It's definitely worth a watch. But for me, it was just a really good way to kind of showcase to people what actually happens when you start recommending products, and how to teach your clients how to style hair themselves the best way. Because ultimately that's what's most important, is giving advice as good as possible, and understanding that a haircut only looks good when they can do it as good or as close to as good as you can. So I think education for clients is key, especially with products, because I find in a lot of cases that clients are quite reluctant with hair products specifically, and it just feels like you're just trying to hard sell to them. But actually, by doing that, you get the opportunity for them to recreate their looks. And it's a bit easier with women because they understand makeup, and that it takes more than one makeup product to be able to create a look. So making sure you're recommending the right products and the right number of products, I think, is so important as well.
Definitely. And what are some good ways to kind of stay in touch with clients at the moment, be it via like tutorials or just kind of keeping up on social media? Have you got any advice for kind of staying in contact with clients?
Social media is obviously very important, and I've had lots of clients message me about things, which has been really sweet to kind of still talk to them. And to be fair, one of the great things I've had is lots of clients have been sort of messaging me, just checking in, seeing how we're getting on. You know, I think clients understand a lot how difficult it is for hairdressers at these times, because we can't work really, and there's not much we can be doing. So I think for them, they understand the situation we're in as well. So it's quite nice to have that little bit of correspondence with them where they sort of understand that you're going through quite a tough time as well. Right, spin back round. So you can see we've got those two nice little braids.
Nice.
This massive fringe. This is how to do a fringe at home. And yeah, I think, you know, for clients in that perspective, it's great to be able to keep in touch with them and help advise them as best you can. I think there's lots of worry out there at the minute for a lot of people. And I think getting to focus on that situation is quite an important one, because they're going through the same things we are. You know, we know how to do hair, they don't. And I think they're probably concerned and worried because they're trying to work from home and look their best and try and keep some sort of normality to their lives. So having that little bit of a relationship with them is always good. Social media is probably the easiest way, because it's just so easy to stay in touch and stay in contact with people these days, because, you know, our lives are on screens all the time. I'll pull you back a little bit.
Amazing.
So I'm just going to show you how we're going to finish this. So I've got, like I said, you know, from the braiding perspective, it doesn't have to be super crazy. Just literally split it right down the middle and work from back to front. And then all we're going to do is I'm going to take these two sections of hair. Now, the reason I said this is a great look for, you know, a photograph setting is that I've been able to effectively remove all of that hair. So if I just pull this back, you know, there's so much more I can do with this. I can pin this down and follow that braid back, and that's going to give me a place to put a wig on if I was doing that. Some things, you know, for an avant-garde shoot where you're trying to get rid of all of the hair, it's just a simple way to do it. And I actually find working from the back to the front is actually an easier way of braiding. You know, simple strip, 3-strand outside plait. It just seems to flow a little bit easier and it's quicker to get through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something on top, which is kind of my take on a little bit of a bun, if that makes sense. So I'll try and come around so you can see this the best. I'm going to move this back slightly. Hopefully that doesn't fall so you see a bit more. Literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to take both sections and I'm going to tie it in a knot, like that. That's going to join those two sections. And then I'm going to tie it in another knot above that. And then I'm literally going to work back, if you can see, and I'm just constantly tying the hair in knots. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all that to the front. I'm going to put a little pin in. That will secure it so that I can see what I want to do with it. And then I'm just going to start to pull those sections of hair out. And you can see, literally, just by doing that, I've got rid of all that long hair and she's got a quiff.
Amazing.
So to tweak those little bits, what I can start to then do is actually tease some of this softness around about her face, just to give her a little bit more of a kind of flowy section to it.
Kind of pulling out and teasing bits.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's all about just kind of building on that shape. And then all I'm going to do is kind of start to use some head shine here. And I'm going to start to comb in to where we've put that braid in. What that's going to do is actually going to, the reason I'm doing it on one side is because it's going to start to take away some of the lines that separate. So you just lean forward. It's going to start to separate some of the lines that you would get from the braid. So you create so the best way to explain it from a photo shoot perspective is now when I start to tweak this and pull this out, I get a look on this side. Even though it's the same style, if I can start to incorporate those little flyaway hairs and really put some high shine in there, there's a shot. And then if you turn to the other side, what I'll do here is I'll really start to pull this braid out and make the shape of that quite different. And instead of trying to get rid of the lines that separate the braid, I'm going to start to pull these out a little bit more. And what that's going to do is going to give me more of a 3D effect, especially if you were shooting from somewhere like here. And then obviously when you go right to the front, you can just tease that out, build that shape as much as you want on either side. Hairspray is always a good one. And then a top pro tip for on shoots, especially with lighting, if you want to start to pick out areas, use your shine spray a bit like a gun. So you've got this little trigger. And what I'll start to do is just highlight certain areas so that when you see the shine, it's really going to bring that out. Help that jump out in the picture, hopefully get you into the finals, maybe.
Amazing.
You're you got it here first. But yeah, there's 3 looks all changed into one another, and sort of tweaked.
Amazing. They look brilliant, all of them.
Ash, you can go chill, and then if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me, I'm free and I'm here now. Thank you very much.
Amazing. I'm just going to turn on the comments now just to see if we've had any more questions. But amazing. Thank you so much for showing us. There's so many good tips there.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone got to see some kind of little tips and tricks. If they're inspired a little bit, that's great. And you know, keep playing, stay focused. It's definitely a tough time for everyone. We're all in the same boat. And I think hairdressers as a community have been amazing, that we're all kind of coming together and supporting each other. And I think it's such a key time to do a little bit more for other people, and that's just checking in and talking and sharing. I've seen so many amazing groups on Facebook and things like that that are bringing hairdressers together, and obviously the work that you guys are doing at Hairdressers Journal has been incredible to offer stuff to hairdressers out there and give them an opportunity to see the people that they might be inspired by, but all different aspects, from business and social media and hair. And I think, you know, definitely sharing everything. It's everyone's time now to offer a little bit back. And I actually think there's so much now where people are worried and concerned about what hairdressing is going to look like when we go back. And I think for me personally, I think we're in for such an amazing time, because we're going to be able to showcase and share and have built up all of these new skills and passions while we're in lockdown to take back to our clients. And I think looking at it from a positive perspective and trying to find the good in the situation, which I know is tough, and obviously my heart goes out to anyone who's suffering with this and with people who've lost people, and you kind of see the scale of this pandemic. But I think as a community and an industry, you know, using this time to push our skills and what we do is only going to be better for our clients. And it's going to be like Christmas for about 6 weeks when we get back, because it's just going to be jam-packed and salons will be full. And, you know, I think the joy of what it is. And for me, what's been a huge thing is I've actually loved seeing how significant hairdressers actually are. And I think a lot of times people have said, oh, you're just a hairdresser. And there's always been that thrown around as a situation. But I think from this, you actually see how big a part of a community a hairdresser is and a hair salon is. And I think it's amazing to work in such a great industry that shows how much people kind of are still out there and talking about us. And I know there's lots of, you know, people worried out there, and, you know, I'm in the same boat. My mum is in the NHS, and it's scary because, one, we haven't seen her for nearly 6 weeks, and two,
Wow.
I know she's going to work in that situation every day. So I can relate to so many people out there who are feeling scared and worried, but we will get through this and we'll be all right.
Absolutely. Jonathan, thank you so much for all of your guidance and your support there. I'm sure that everyone can really resonate with what you've said, and thank you so much for showing us those amazing looks as well. Can't wait to try out some of those.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you so much for having me. It was a real honour, and I hope you all had a good time, and I'll see you soon.
It's brilliant. Thank you so much, Jonathan. See you soon.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.